Morning. Hope you all liked the intro that started the episode. I'm playing around with editing. I've never done any editing before. As you can probably tell, it looks very dodgy and first year media student type. I'm trying different things. I want to sort of get better at this whole podcast YouTubing bit. So yeah, my name is Fishing Odyssey. If you like what I do, please like, share and subscribe. Hit that notification button, put your words in the comment section, and thank you for your time, your energy, your support, your words, your comments. And yeah, so currently it's Easter Sunday and it's about, I don't know, 8 o'clock. I think it is 8 o'clock. Fucking dogs. Go on, fuck off. I haven't started fishing yet, but I'm doing this now as opposed to later because the tide is out and I want to show you in my little fishing spot that I go to the what it looks like without the water there, so we can better understand the obstacles in theory under the surface. So what I'm going to do, might try and edit this out in post, as they say. So we're going to go down to the big rocks. Let's get the big rocks behind us. So you can see the big rocks behind me, and you can see the level of where the water comes in at high tide by the level where the green is. I still haven't done any reading about what the green stuff is. You can see it's all high tide, low tide, and you can see remnants of the sun's very sort of. You can see the. You can see remnants of the old groins. So not too. And you can see the stumps, and that's the other side of the. You've got that stuff there. I went up on there Thursday and almost slipped in. So reasons when I go up there is why I need to have a definitely have some sort of life preserver. And I don't know if I can actually turn my camera around mid record, but again, if I paused it, I could piss about with it. I might have to do that later on. So as you can see, the rocks go out for quite a while. Bit of sand, bit of rock pools. So yeah, there's a few obstacles to note, like the old groins behind me. And they go on as far as, not as the eye could see, but so yeah, let's go out a little bit further. I think they go out, I think that's about 20-30 meters if I had to guess, and then that's where the water started to come back in. If you can see that the sun is behind me, so that's not particularly very good. But yes, I'm gonna stop it there. I'm gonna stick on the after bit, the after footage, and see if I can edit it all together for today's episode. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for just humouring me while I waffle on. I've never seen this at low tide, so it's very interesting for me and useful to know where future problems are. And yeah, so I'm glad I came out here now to see it. So thank you. I'll see you all shortly. So what did I learn? My journey into fishing, or my journey into sea fishing, is very much trial and error. There are resources out there. There's Facebook, YouTube, the guy at the fish and tackle shop. All of these resources are really useful, and we would be lost without the local enthusiast. But sometimes you have to learn things in your own time, and you have to learn things through your mistakes. And so yes, sea fishing for me is very much trial and error. I've learnt today that it's good to know your surroundings. I still don't know how to turn my camera around, so let's just look at that. The sun's going to be in your eyes, so I apologise for that. But there, that's where I am at the moment. And it is a mix of slippery rocks covered in green stuff, and then it gets to rocks covered in barnacles, and then it gets as you get further out, it becomes more sea life on the shores, like all the weird and wonderful creatures that I suppose are plant life, sea plants that sort of just live on the sea floor, and they come out and they sort of take particles out of the sea. And so I've learnt, it's adjusting my sitting mat. I've learnt that I need to, at low tide, I need to use a top water lure, and that means, or top water lures, from what I am understanding, that they float and they have a little rattle in it, or not to fish at low tide. I've also learned, I think, that the different construction of line is important. You don't want to be using a line that will get snagged on the bottom when you're using a lure that sinks. I think that the braid that I use at the moment, because I'm using generic fish and tackle, I haven't got any sea gear and I haven't got any whatever, so I'm using what I have to hand, like most people who start off fishing. I've currently got braid on one of my reels, and that gets snagged on the, I was going to say the shop floor, but the sea floor, the beach floor, whatever it's called, and that's not very good because it will get cut, you'll lose your gear, all that type of stuff. So ideally you'd want to use something that doesn't get caught, or that it floats, so a floating line. And you get a lot of, I won't say you get a lot of floating lines in trout fishing or fly fishing, but that's what I've seen. So anecdotal evidence would suggest that in this situation now, it would be best to use a floating lure and a floating line. But then again, I don't know how much fish are out in the low tide marker area. Surely they'd be out in the deeper part. I don't know. I need to study the fish and their eating habits. Because obviously if you've got fish like plaice, evidence would suggest to me that they are bottom feeders because they eat worms, and worms live in the sand. Lugworms that live in the sand live. So predator fish, like, I don't know, mackerel? Is mackerel a predator fish? I don't know. They live in the mid-level / top level of the sea. So a fly or a lure would, in my mind, be ideal for that. So yeah, I've learnt choose your bait, choose your lure, choose your line, choose the time that you go. I think it's good to identify the obstacles under the water that you won't see at high tide when you change your fishing direction or time. Because there's lots of things I can see now right in front of me that you could get caught up on, or if I got pulled in, or if I fell in, or I got swept away, that I could either use to stop myself or get fucked up on. What else have I learned? I've learnt that you need to really target a fish. I mean, you can go out at lunchtime on your lunch break with a fishing rod, cast it out into the water a few times. The chances of you actually getting something is slim to none, because not all fish are not all there at the same time. I am naive to think this, and this is why I love like trial and error, because it makes you look at not at yourself, but makes you think, and I like to be made to think. So I'm really appreciative of me coming out at high tide. I mean, I didn't even know what tide times were for today, so it's useful. What else have I learned? I've learned in the last few days, I've learned about my baits and my lures and all that type of stuff. As a rule, anybody who knows me will know that I am a generalist. There is pretty much a few things that I can't turn my hand to and do, not convincingly, but I'll have a go at everything, and it will be to the best of my ability. I'm not saying I'm a perfectionist, but so yeah, I can do a bit of bricklaying, I can do a bit of scaffolding, I can do a bit of this, I can do a bit of that. But that led me, because I am going back a few, I was a generalist in the army, so I did a lot of trades, none necessarily to a high standard, and that reflected the stuff I did when I left the army. I went to college and did countryside management, which is a very sort of generalist outside course. I went to uni and did conservation, and I dabbled a bit with horticulture, not for drugs, but I was into hydroponics. Again, not for the drugs. So I kind of specialised then, but I pride myself in able to sort of go to different location, different scenario, and adapt to the differences. And so I've spoken about having one bag, and each sort of fishing discipline is represented within the bag. And if I'm going to have one bag to fish them all, my gear for that small piece of gear that I have needs to be the best bit of gear for the scenario in the environment. So I need to have the best bit of fishing, the best bit of generalist fishing gear in my bag for sea fishing, and the best bit of generalist coarse fishing or carp fishing or pike fishing or predator fishing, as you would expect. So yeah, on a tangent, a side note, we have been doing some learning. I wouldn't say learning. Learning's tarred or tarnished. Learning is a bit of a misnomer. We've had some healthy discussions about. Last night's was about the film Dune, the 2021 Denis Villeneuve, yeah, the Timothée Chalamet thing, and we've had some really sort of not lively discussions, but sort of animated discussions about that. And so yeah, we've been doing a lot of reflecting and not studying, but sort of, I can't think what the word that the guy who did the bad YouTube video said. But yes, you have to look objectively at things and sort of put your opinion on the shelf, because your opinion will be biased, and it will be biased through your upbringing or your the stuff that you watch, the stuff that you listen to, your religion, whatever it is. If you can understand that you have bias, or that you are biased, you can look more objectively at things. And that goes for everything. That's not just me having a tangent. You can put that onto anything. You'll be able to be a better angler if you look at things objectively as opposed to subjectively. Like, oh, my dad, my grandfather, my uncle says this, but through your own study and through trial and error, you will be able to come up with either the same conclusions or pressed up firmly against the outside of the box scenarios that are slightly different and may yield better results. So unless you do this on a regular basis, I think you're not experiencing everything you could do. So yeah, that's a bit of a tangent. If you read the fishing magazines, all these fishing articles are written by people who are sponsored. That's a word. Sponsored by the fishing companies or the fishing gear companies, and they get kickbacks and they get stuff to promote the new fishing gear line. You will never find in my mind, you will never find an article in a fishing magazine that says, of you can use any bit of kit to go fishing anywhere and have near to the same results, because the fishing, because everything, as I am learning, is sort of based in sort of capitalism and money and a big lump of rock in my back. But, so yeah, the whole capitalism claws are so far-reaching in every facet of our lifestyle, society, whatever you want to call it. This isn't turning into a fishing socialism YouTube video. This sort of gradually will sort of circle back to my thoughts on you don't need all the fancy gear to be able to catch fish. You can have one rod, one reel, a little box of things that look like little fish or whatever, and you can go out there and catch stuff. But to make that statement and to stick with your statement, you have to do the science behind it. You have to test that theory, and you have to test the theory, or not necessarily the theory, you have to test for yourself how much, if I've got a pike rod, a pike reel, pike lures, how much pike am I going to catch next to having a general rod, a general reel, and general lures? Because there are other factors which attribute to your success at fishing, like the weather, the time of the year, the time of the day, the air pressure, the moon. The moon has such an effect on us all, every aspect. And I was reading articles when I was in France about planting certain vegetables or flowers in different phases of a moon, and I thought, no, that's just some hippie bullshit. But no, apparently it's an actual thing. I don't know how much experimentation has got onto it. I couldn't even devise an experiment in my mind how to judge that. But I might edit out that pause. Since, and this is another tangent, since I've started fishing, I fish virtually every day. I'm feeling muscles in my body wake up that I haven't either used for a long time or I haven't used knowingly, and it's good to know. Even though I'm just casting out into the sea and I'm not actually catching anything, just the pure act of swinging something, doing sort of dabbing almost, is healthy. It wakes you up, and I haven't met any vegan Karens yet. I want to meet a vegan Karen who's walking a dog at the same time that I'm fishing, because I in my mind, I will just lay into her. You have a go at me, but you've got a dog. How does that work? Did the dog ask you to take him in? No? Okay. Did the birds ask you to set a nut feeder out in your garden? No? Okay. As you can tell, I've had my breakfast. I've had a bit of juice. And I'm trying to make these episodes not necessarily thought-provoking, because it's not like the Outer Limits, but I want people to sort of, my 22 viewers and the rest of the people who don't subscribe, I want people to sort of let them know what I'm thinking and where my mind goes, and I'd like to think it could awaken something in somebody to think, oh yeah, I never thought of that, or that's exactly what I was thinking. But yeah, I'm going to edit this. I'm going to stick some things together, and when I post it, it will be considerably different to how I recorded it. If you like this, I think this will be episode 4. If you like what episode 4 looks like, leave a comment in the comment section, and I might stick with it, or I might change it completely. So yeah, it's been a quiet morning, aren't they all? So in summary, in conclusion, I need to fish at the correct time. I need to use the correct lure/bait for the correct time. I'm aware of the scenario, the situation that I'm in. I know what's out there, so that's useful. And at some point, I need to get a life jacket. Eastbourne angler, or Eastbourne fisherman, sorry. I won't say he always goes on, but he emphasises the safety. Because we are fishing in the sea. It's different to lakes, because the lake is not going to drag you away. And you probably know all the obstacles in that lake. And you can probably stand up in it as well. But there's so much more going on in the sea than we actually understand. Not understand, but we're aware of. So yeah, I'm definitely going to get a life jacket, life preserver, whatever the fuck it's called. And so yes, if you like what I do, please like, share and subscribe, hit that notification button, face plant your head on the keyboard, put some words in the section. Thank you for your energy, thank you for your time, thank you for your vibrations, and yeah, this is Easter Sunday. Hope you have a good day. Hope you eat lots of eggs, make yourself sick, and yeah, speak to you all tomorrow.